I'll start with you. Should all leagues start skipping White House visits during this administration?
I can't make that decision for individual leagues. I can't make it for teams. All I can suggest is it's an individual decision. This is the core of your and my disagreement. When we have had, Max, blow-ups on this show, perhaps some more than others, but this is it. It's what you require of others. Not your own moral fortitude, not your own moral guidance, but what you suggest others should have. I cannot say every league shouldn't go. I can say what I would do. I can say, you know, Kevin Durant should be able to make his own decision, and Steph Curry should be able to make his own decision. And by the way, for Steph Curry's sake, when you're personally insulted and then your invitation is rescinded like a 8-year-old's birthday party after you say you can't come in, yeah, I think Steph's probably walking the right path here. I can understand Steph's decision. I guess if Max, Stephen A., you and I, the three of us, we had a massive throwdown a few weeks ago. Here is the core of it. When I said earlier in the show that everybody loses, this is what I think is happening. There is a role, there's a need in civil society for places that we can go where we don't have to fight. Sports was one of those places. At one time, White House visits were also one of those places. And we are losing that. I agree with Drew Brees. The national anthem was one of those places. That was a unity as Americans, a place we put our hands over our heart and we said, for good or for bad, for the things that we've lost and the things that we fight about, this is our moment where we honor the best of ourselves, what we attempt to live up to. That unifying force has now become a division. Donald Trump, one that he has played into and taken advantage of. In Bob's words, one that he is playing.
That was your feeling. You felt it unified.
Yes.
As a white man, listen, I understand the whole idea of white privilege is that it's the original essay. It's an invisible backpack of privilege. It's invisible. White people don't see it oftentimes. They need to be alerted to the ways in which they are treated with special privilege compared to people on the margins, including people of color. But you felt, Will Kane, and many others did, that it was unifying. But clearly, many felt maybe not so much. Maybe
no, that's not what's being
so good about it.
That is not what's being suggested by anyone.
I'm suggesting it now that the behavior indicates that people who are forced to kind of pay homage not only to our country, but very much our country's history and all that means, maybe didn't feel so good about it. Look, Steph Curry and LeBron James, and really it was directed at Steph Curry, but we're really talking, LeBron's comment was incendiary. He called the president a bum, right? After the president said SOB. The president has so debased the office that he doesn't meet the standard of civil discourse to the point that we can't even repeat what he said on the air. So the question as to, is it okay for people to visit the White House? Well, of course they can make up their own minds. But as the fourth estate, should we hold people to some kind of decency standard or moral standard? I think there is a line over which you cross and people say, you know what? It's not okay in polite society to do that. And I'm saying that this line has been crossed. And of course, they can make up their own minds, teams, but we have reserved the right to have judgment about their decisions.
How often do you get a chance to go to the White House and meet the president? I mean, I'm sure some of us around the table have had that occasion. It's pretty humbling, even if you're a veteran journalist and you've done it a few times. It's pretty neat. If you have that opportunity, as much antipathy as you might have for a president that you feel, if you do feel he's totally unqualified to have the position and it's been divisive to this country, why not go and have that time in the handshake line? Because if Donald Trump has shown anything, is that he's susceptible to the last voice in his ear. Have a conversation with him about that. You talk about divisiveness in this country. I got the hell off of Facebook last year because I was tired. Facebook was invented for pictures of babies and puppies, all right, basically. I mean, and the demographics trending that way seem to indicate that. I was tired of logging on and seeing political polemic after political polemic cross my screen. Jeremy Schaap and I were in here yesterday doing a hit on SportsCenter about 8 in the morning. We had Anquan Bolden with us. Yep. Got done. Let's go get some breakfast. Go over to a diner, you know, the Main Street Diner, a great place. We're sitting at the counter. Two very smart members of the establishment. We're talking here at 35,000 feet about all the great issues. Plop, plop. Two people sit down next to us. People 30s, early 40s, husband apparently and his wife, decked out in all their Green Bay Packer regalia. And I nudged them. I said, Schaap, I said, look next to them. Do you think those people give a rat's earlobe what we just talked about on national television? They're going to go home, and rightfully so. This is their escape. This game is their escape. Not to say they don't have empathy for all the issues that Colin Kaepernick cares about, that they don't have empathy for the experience of a young black man pulled over by the police. But if they're going to the game, and they're not, they're sitting here, but if they're going to spend a week's wage to go to the game, this is their escape. There are still some apolitical people in this country who are looking at this entire debate, whether it's heartfelt or whether it's a political ploy, and saying, I just want my bloody games. Give me my game. And they deserve a place in this discussion.